Hello everybody, I'm Tom and you are watching me play The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. We're back in Skellige, and oh how I love Skellige. Ah, I just love these views. But where we are specifically is on the Isle of Spikerog, because we're going to go help Cerys and Craite, because we told Crack that we were going to. There's also a notice board here that I have to read. Also, I want to go over a few character entries. Where is the notice board specifically? I think it's up here.
Cerys dropped in for a visit.
It's an honour to host our Craite's daughter.
She come for a reason? Or just to visit?
I don't know. Must have a matter to tend to.
Mean you didn't ask her?
I'm not one to go folk by their tongue. If they don't want to talk, they shouldn't.
You're useless.
Hello.
Sorry to interrupt.
You need something? Come, let's have a pint and a chat.
Thanks, but I'm short on time. Looking for a girl named Cerys.
Crack and Craite's daughter. She was here, but I've not seen her a while.
Take care.
Interesting. I love the fact that you can overhear that and then just ask him. It's cool. Where was this? I'm going the wrong way for the notice board. Notice board is this way. Clan Twersech. So down here is the notice board, which is kind of out of the way of everything, to be honest. But let's read the notice board. Excellent kites. Need a gift for your child. Come to Beager and Hunchback and buy his most excellent kites. Made to strips of wood and swim bladders. Interesting. Swim bladders. There's a lot of some fish have them, but mainly it's in aquatic mammals. They can use it to change their buoyancy. Warning to the menfolk. I'm warning of our village menfolk that if I hear another one whistling or shouting comments about my looks, I'll punch him in your gob so hard you won't be able to whistle till next winter. Fjoller. I'm Ardvag, known as the Head Hunter, and I'm looking for brave warriors for a raid against Nilfgaard. Successful candidates must have raiding experience and a good grasp of close combat. Why raid with me? You will either return with loads of loot, or else skalds will sing of your heroic death. Request from the Druids. The Circle of Druids asks the brave warriors of Clan Brockvar to suspend fishing for tuna, at least until their spawning season ends. This is interesting. I love the way that the Druids kind of work in Skellige. They're almost like, I mean, they're mages as well, like they control elements and all sorts of things, but they act as like rangers almost, and to prevent over-poaching and population control of animals, all that kind of thing. The enemy never sleeps. Our guards have warned us of spies from Nilfgaard and the northern kingdoms in our midst. Drag anyone acting suspicious to the Jarl. And contract for Nil's disappearance. To anyone who might know anything, Nil's from our village, he's disappeared. He's been many a day now and he's still nowhere to be seen. So if you know what's become of him, don't keep it to yourself, come see me and let me know. Even if the truth's grim and dark from her sister Britt, who has his betrothed. She's going out of her mind with worry, crying seas of tears and such. I swear to him now, whoever brings me news of him will get an honourable reward. Kevin. It's probably Kevan or something. But it's hilarious when you just read it as Kevin. Now, I didn't empty my inventory since last time, so I'm very, very close to being overburdened. Which, you know, when that becomes a problem, that'll become a problem, I guess. But for now, I'm going to ignore it. This way goes up to the Jarl's place, right? I'm trying to remember where the Jarl's place is in Spikerog. I think it's like up here and to the right. Yeah, there it is.
Uncle said folk on the continent got heads like cats, but you only got cat's eyes.
What's that? Gotta come back for more.
Rare indeed
That
to
caught
get an
a turn.
audience once he gets chatting with the...
Welcome to the home of Jarl Udalric of the Honourable Clan Brockvar.
Greetings. Wanted to see the Jarl.
Enter. Jarl's still speaking to his seer, but they should finish soon.
One thing. Which way you step?
How come?
Jarl's not too fond of light. Makes it easy to trip.
Y'all must have dreamt another vision.
Last night was...
Rage stronger. Heard of tumult on the starboard side.
We'll be done in a moment.
And then a giant sea snake swam up and bit my arm off. The gods have spoken. A sacrifice is needed.
To my mind, it's about you defeating a snake, yeah.
No, they demand a sacrifice. I'm sure of it. It's time.
We must wait for a clearer sign. At least till your next dreaming.
I don't need no more signs.
Looking for Cerys. Heard she stayed here.
On Craite's daughter. Aye, she was here.
Where is she now?
What?
Cerys. Where's Cerys?
Dunno. Enough of the questions.
He's mind-addled, obviously.
I say something wrong? You must forgive the Jarl. Hasn't been feeling well of late. Is he sick? He didn't seem quite right during Crach's feast, but... Forgive me. I must go to him. Where's Cerys? I've got to find her. I don't know. Ask around. Great. Asked around already. Talked to the wrong people, maybe? Need to try the village again.
That's really interesting. We have a bunch of character entries that I want to read. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go to pretty much where I want to end the episode, and then I'm going to actually just read all the character entries. That way, for people who don't want to sit through them, they don't have to, like, skip through the episode. I'll just make it slightly easier, I think.
Greetings.
Ha! Nary a soul for months. Then one day guests from afar start dropping like rain in springtime. You weary traveller? Hungry?
Looking for Cerys, Jarl on Craite's daughter.
Ah, you found her. Or near to. Lass was just here.
Know where she might have gone?
Took an interest in our Jarl. Asked about his childhood. So I told her to see Bergthora and Eirik.
Who are Bergthora and Eirik?
Years ago, Eirik was close with the old Jarl. Was the Jarl that helped him win Bergthora's hand. They lived toward the east end of the village.
Cool.
Take care.
Bless you. And my blessings to Cerys when you see her.
I gotta say, the people in Skellige are just nicer than the people everywhere else. It's kind of funny. I think it's you, right? Yeah, Bergthora.
Greetings. I'm looking for someone.
Lucky chap you are then. Truth be told, I'm taken, but village is brimming with lovely girls.
Did you say lovely girls? Where? Maybe one would be willing to show me around the island.
Well, there's Vea, lovely one, Cooper's daughter. Though, nah, she's got teeth like fish hooks. Now Deborah, there's a fine lass, teeth bang on straight. Though, there is a growth under her right eye. Maya's got a right dreamy face, if not for that bit of bone rot in her right foot. Ah, nuts. Now I give it a think, well, none of these lasses are really appealing.
That's hilarious. I've never done that line before.
I'm looking for Cerys.
The skinny thing. Lovely doe eyes, true, and she's from an honourable house. But the lass is gaunt as a sapling.
I don't know where she is. And her father...
Ugh, tell Craite to calm down. No Skellige lass can perish in her own isles. All right, she was here a few hours. Went to find me man Eirik. Needed to talk, she said. They should be on the beach, t'other side of the aisle.
Thanks. Take care.
Good luck searching.
There's some big dogs. Alright. So we're off down to the beach on this side of the aisle. There's actually a cliff in our way, which means I'm going to have to probably run down the cliff. From memory, there's like a really big Arrakis or something around here that I should probably be careful of. But again, I've now reached the point where I'm probably a high enough level that it's not that much of an issue. There's a fishing hut and drowners. Or mucknixes, probably. Nope, straight drowners. That works.
Fucking mute dabbler! Swimming like gulls around the waist heap. I'd be sure we showed them.
We seem to remember you sitting on that rock crying for help.
If not for me warning, you'd be herring bait about now.
Thanks for your help. Did it once, maybe you can do it again.
Well, we'll have to think about it. Busy the day me fishing got nets to mend. No time to fight monsters.
It's not drowners this time. It's Cerys. I'm looking for her.
Aye, fine looking girl. Can tell right away she's from a good clan. Left her sitting right here when I sailed out to bring in the morning catch.
Any idea why she came here? She say what she was after or just admire the scenery?
She asked about our Jarl and his family.
She say where she was headed?
Wouldn't tell a stranger, but we did risk our hides together. Went to Udaldric's old family home. Yonder on the hill.
Thanks. Farewell.
This guy's great. So I believe his house is like up. He said a hill, it's more like a cliff, to be perfectly honest. It's like straight up a cliff, in fact. Hello, goats. Where was the road? There was a road up, right? Yeah, here we go. You can actually follow a road up. I think classically... Weird. It was forcing me to walk there. I think classically I always try and climb the mountain, and it never really goes well, so I think I'll actually follow the path this time. Are you here, Cerys?
Something seriously wrong here.
Yeah.
Fresh footprints. Could be Cerys's.
Something not quite right here in the...
Cerys. Passed out. Gotta get her out of here.
What happened? Where am I? Oh, my head. Pain's just awful.
Got hit with something heavy.
Geralt? Why are you here?
Came to look for you. Croc's worried. Taking you home.
I won't go until I help Udalric. The sword! Where's the sword? I've got to go back!
You're not going anywhere. I carried you out of there a moment ago half dead.
I have to!
You have to tell me what's going on. Why'd you go in there?
I wanted to help Udalric.
Sure, he was acting strangely, but I don't see how your stroll through a haunted house will help him.
It would have, if I'd only found the sword.
So what's this sword all about?
It's Brokvar, the ancestral sword of Udalric's clan. I needed to lift the curse that holds Udalric.
A curse?
Long story. Years ago, Udalric and his little brother butted heads over the sword. As custom has it, the clan's sword should go to the firstborn son, Udalric. But his father gave Brokvar to his little brother, Aki.
Serious insult in these lands.
Indeed.
Serious enough for Udalric to break a sacred law here in Skellige. He openly questioned his father's decision.
Guessing the old Jarl couldn't let it pass.
They chained Udalric to a pile, up to his waist in the sea. Spent 3 days like that.
Jesus.
When his punishment ended, he and Aki sailed out to fish.
Got a feeling this trip didn't end happily.
Your feeling's right. There was an accident.
Quote
A
unquote.
storm broke out and Aki fell overboard. Udalric had his hands full with the sails. Didn't hear his brother until it was too late.
Didn't hear, or didn't want to hear.
Some folk on the Isle had the same doubt, but none would mention it aloud.
What do you think? Did Udalric kill Aki?
I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but I do think whatever happened at sea that day, well, it's affecting Udalric right now, powerfully so, and it could have something to do with that sword.
What do you plan to do with the sword?
I thought Aki's ghost would want it back.
The brother's ghost?
Long as I remember, folk have said Udalric's the chosen one, the one the gods speak to. I believed it once, but now, considering certain things, I think he's just haunted. And it's his dead brother that's haunting him.
It's a fairly good theory.
Daring theory. Not breaking any of your laws just by thinking.
Don't care. I don't believe it's the gods talking. Have you seen him? He's covered in scars.
Thought he earned those in battle.
If you call the strife in his heart and head a battle, I've asked him about it. He said the voices command him to hurt himself for the glory of the gods. I think not. It's not the gods, it's Aki.
Could also just be mental illness.
So you believe Aki's getting his revenge, because Udalric let him die?
I've talked to Yort. He swears Udalric didn't start hearing voices till after Aki's death. And I don't think Yort's mistaken. He knew both those boys from the cradle. I think we've to give Brokvar to Aki, and he'll leave Udalric alone.
It's not a bad theory.
Not a bad idea. On condition it's a ghost we're dealing with. That something doesn't add up.
What's that?
Aki drowned at sea, said so yourself. But the ghost haunts this house.
Aki and Udalric both lived here. Maybe that's why. Thanks for your help, Geralt. But I've got to get the sword.
Out of the question. I'll get it.
Really? Thanks. So I can go see Udalric?
No chance. You're weak. Might pass out again along the way. Wait here, we'll go together.
Indeed. We're going to continue this next episode. Relatively short episode, but I'm going to read a bunch of character entries and bestiary entries if we've got any. So preemptively, I'll say thanks for watching. If you like the video, please leave a like. Not subscribed, please consider subscribing. All that kind of stuff. YouTube stuff. But for those who are interested in the reading of character entries, I'm going to be doing that now. So, bestiary first, nothing new. If we go to characters, however, we have quite a few. Let's go, shall we? Annabelle. Geralt encountered this young woman's ghost in the uppermost room of the haunted tower on Fyke Isle. She told him that in life she had been the local lord's daughter. When enraged peasants stormed the tower, she feared they would ravage her honour if they found her alive, and so took a magic potion that put her in a corpse-like state of paralysis. When she awoke, she found herself lying amidst the bodies of her family and servants, unable to move. She watched in helpless horror as rats feasted on the pile of corpses and began to nibble on her as well. That grisly death must have somehow put a curse on her and the tower, for her ghost has wandered in restless torment ever since. Geralt engaged his vast experience with such curses to search for a possible solution. Having learned that Annabelle had loved a simple fisherman named Graham, Geralt decided this man and the bond of true love the two youths shared could be their salvation. Perhaps there was something in the girl's words that had put Geralt on his guard, or perhaps his Witcher instinct simply warned him in time. Either way, Geralt knew that he was dealing with what he was dealing with a little second before Annabelle revealed her true nature. The spirit was in fact a pester, a plague maiden, a terrible wraith which spreads death and pestilence. Interesting. We have a new entry on Eridan, which is interesting. I guess this is from the... Yeah, I don't know why we have an entry for Eridan, but I'm going to read it anyway. The name of the king of the wild hunt. The identity of the lord of nightmares. The being behind the frightful mask. This long remained unknown. Over time, however, scraps of information gradually coalesced into a full likeness of our foe, but did nothing to detract from the terror he inspired. The Wild Hunt was in truth an elite cavalry brigade from the world of NL, the Elder Folk, and was commanded by their ambitious and ruthless king, Eridan Brak-Glass. He would travel via secret paths through the cold emptiness between his world and ours, from ours, to capture victims and take them back to his homeland as slaves. The current objective of his hunt was Cirilla, whose power he wanted to harness for his own uses. The only obstacle in his path, Geralt of Rivia. Yep, Eridan is an ambitious man. Or elf, I should say. Graham. Graham was a simple fisherman from an even simpler village, Oriton. Yet the role he had played in local events was anything but. Fyke Isle, the tower, the curse, he had been a key part of it all. Geralt had learned from Annabelle about the deep feelings the two had shared, but the rest of their tragic story only emerged later. Exactly how the young man had participated in the incident in the tower remained rather unclear. What was certain was that he tried to defend his beloved and fled Fyke Isle right after what he thought was her death. Graham filled Geralt in on the rest of the story, one in which youthful longing for happiness lost out to fate's cruelties and human greed. Having learned there was a slim chance he could save his beloved's ghost, the fisherman set out at once to help the Witcher lift the curse weighing down on the isle. Yet though the evil spell was indeed broken, the story still did not have a happy ending. Despite his courage and dedication, Graham died while saving the one he had never ceased to love. Short. It is my humble opinion that the most one can learn from staring at the innards of... hang on a second. Which is thought. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. It is my humble opinion that most one can learn from staring at the innards of gutted animals is whether the poor beast was infested with parasites. Nevertheless, Kort, like many other druids of Skellige, placed a great deal of trust in both horspicy and hiomancy. Horspicy is, as he says, looking at the innards of animals. Hieromancy? I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I'll put a thing saying what that is. And to neuromancy as well, though that's more understandable, dreams being the royal root to one's soul. It's interesting here. It's the kind of bias of Dandelion coming through. He believes in a neuromancy because he's a poet, and he likes the idea that dreams are truly the view into the soul, but the other kinds of magic he's kind of hand-wavy about and doesn't care about. Word was that he commanded a great deal of respect and esteem amongst his fellow practitioners, having more than once accurately prophesied the future and interpreted the meaning of obtuse dreams. This druid was devoted to Clan Brokvar with all his heart, and his knowledge and ability made him an excellent advisor, one in whom the Jarl of Spikarog, Uldurik of Clan Brokvar, placed a great deal of trust. Kort had tried to alleviate the suffering brought on by his Jarl's strange condition, but despite his efforts, no progress was made in stopping the decline of Ulric's mental health. Then we have Kira. This is a hell of an entrance. Geralt first met Kira Metz when she literally dropped on top of him out of nowhere, during the infamous coup on Thaned Island. Kira was defenestrated and nearly landed right in the witch's head. Defenestrated means to be thrown out of a window. It's hilarious that there's a word for that, but there is, in fact, a word for that. If you're thrown from a window, generally thrown from a window in an attempt to kill you, it means you've been defenestrated. I don't know why I know that, but I do. The next time Geralt saw her in the swamps of Evelyn was shocked in a different way. The luxury-loving sorceress was the last person he expected to see in such a grim and barren place. Geralt later learned that the reason for this, and Kira's fate gave him ample fodder for contemplating the cruel whimsies of the Wheel of Fortune. Once the esteemed advisor to the now late King Foltest, she had been chased out of Temeria when she lost the ruler's trust. Later she joined the Lodge of Sorceresses, which earned her the hatred of Redania's king and Nilfgaard's emperor alike. Because of this, she had gone deep undercover posing as a cunning woman, a village witch of sorts, deep in the Velen boondocks. It was not at all difficult to see that she despised every minute of this, indeed. Kira then asked Geralt for another favour, lifting the curse from the tower of Fyke Isle. Curses and favours being what Geralt does best. He obliged. Kira had never stopped longing for the lustre of life at the royal court. Thatch-roofed huts could hardly compare to elegant bathrooms and palace gardens. One day she decided to organise an interlude from Valen's grim atmosphere by treating herself to a sumptuous meal. Acquiring the refined ingredients proved less trouble than finding an appropriate dinner partner, that is, until Geralt showed up. The Witcher gladly accepted the sorcerer's invitation and continued saying yes all evening. That's a clever way of putting it, Dandelion. Sadly, an evening that started out so nicely ended quite unfortunately for the Witcher. Kira put him to sleep with a secretly cast spell. Clearly she wanted to hide something from him. It turned out that Kira had played the Witcher like a well-tuned harp, strumming all the right chords to keep him occupied while she stole the Mage Alexander's notes from Fyke Isle. She was planning to use the notes as a bargaining chip while making a deal with Radovid. His plague research could be her ticket back to the life without lice, ticks, and omnipresent filth. In the end, Geralt succeeded in squelching Kira's mad plan to bargain with a man whose favourite negotiating tools were red-hot piercers and burning pyres. Kira changed her destination from Oxenfurt to the decidedly safer confines of Kaer Morhen. And then we have Ulderich, which is a quick one. Geralt's private talk with the Jarl confirmed the rumours. Ulderich was convinced the gods spoke to him, sending him prophetic dreams and demanding he make sacrifices. The tale of the strife between Ulderich and his brother Aki over the family sword threw new light in the Jarl's mysterious problems, but the voice he heard demanded he injure himself, suggesting a vengeful spirit was involved. And Veserad, which we didn't actually get a whole lot about, but Veserad was Annabelle's father. He was the noble that owned Fyke Isle. News of the Nilfgaardian army's approach led nobles of all ranks and order to pack up their silver and flee post-haste to safer harbours, abandoning all thought of defending their patrimony and leaving their lands to the invaders' mercy. Lord Veserad was no exception to this rule. The magnate had ruled much of Velen from his base at Crow's Perch before fleeing with his family to take shelter at the Tower of Fyke Isle. Interesting, so he was the previous leader of Crow's Perch, which is now owned by the Bloody Baron, which we know. The safety he sought there was not, however, to be found, and the massacre in which he was slaughtered became the source of a great many ghastly rumours and legends. According to one of them, Veserad, unmoved by human suffering, had his mage poison starving peasants who had come to him to beg for food. A hideous tale, yet one that sadly seemed plausible given the desperate conditions of the land. Yet the truth turned out, as is its wont, to be much simpler. Veserad was murdered by his traitorous former subjects who were driven by greed, jealousy, and the base jackassery that is all too widespread among the human race. Yeah, it's kind of true. I mean, people are always going to complain about the idea of, like, the nobility versus the peasantry. And he didn't stay to, like, defend his lands, but to be fair, he's not a warrior, he's just a noble. He's a viscount, as it were. But, I mean, he wasn't evil. It's not like he was killing people on purpose. He was giving, to be fair, I suppose he was giving Alexander test subjects to work on, but they were criminals. I mean, he wasn't a good man, but I don't think he was a particularly bad man either. It was sad the way he went out. But in any case, next time we're going to head... Cerys has taken a seat while we were sitting there reading. Next time we're going to go in there and continue helping Cerys. But that's going to be it for this episode, so if you like the video, I've already done all this, I did it before I started reading, I remember now. Alright, thanks for watching guys, I'll see you next time.